Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. This week, believe it or not, we will begin the 11th month of the Jewish calendar, the month of Shvat. And the 15th day of this month is a very special day. It's called Tu B'Shvat, and it's known as the New Year of the trees, the Rosh Hashanah of the trees, and it alludes to the secret of God's essential name, Havaya, which is spelled Yud K Vav K. I don't say the letters in the correct way because it is forbidden, but the K is a Hey, so it's Yud K Vav K, and the Yud and the Hey equal 15, and the Vav and the Hey equal 11 in Gematria, and when you sum them up, they sum to the number 26, which is it alludes to the name of Hashem, of God, of Havaya. And this is the secret of the tree of life and the tree of the month of Shvat. So as we know, we are in the winter time, where you go to any city in the world that goes through winter time, the trees look barren, they look like they're dead, like there's no life in them. You would never believe they will bloom again. And but eventually, in the springtime, they will blossom again. The life will come back to them. And this month is alluded to the tree of life, because the tree of life, as we know, is the tree that was in the Garden of Eden, and it has the Sefirot, the 10 attributes of Hashem, the 3 intellectual ones, which is Chokhmah, Bina, Dat, and then we have the 7 emotional ones, which are Hesed, Gevura, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and Malchut. And everything in life is made with these 10 utterances, with kindness, with discipline, with harmony, with compassion, and it alludes to the tree of life. So the letter of this month is the letter Tzadik, which looks like this. And a Tzadik is, as we know, is a righteous person, and a true Tzadik is a person that has no evil in them. They have been able to, they have no evil urge in them. The evil in them is transformed for the goodness. It's only used for goodness. So if they have anger, for example, it is holy anger. They're not going to get angry at a person and scream at them. They'll use that energy to be productive and change the world. So the foundation of the world is the Tzadikim. In every generation there's 36 of them, and if one is lacking, the world would not be able to sustain itself. But in every generation there's also one tzaddik, which is the tzaddik of the generation in our times, and it personifies the tree of life in the Garden of Eden. So from the form of the letter tzaddik is, especially if you look at it in the downside, it looks like a tree. It represents a tree, and in the tree it's the true manifestation of a tzaddik. And in the future, we will be able, when Mashiach comes, we will be able to see this. And the Torah also says in the Torah that man is called a tree of the field, Etz Hasadah, and the gematria of Etz Hasadah is 474, which equals the same gematria as the word Dat, which means knowledge, and it's the same gematria. Gematria is the sum of the letters of a name. So the 474 of a man of the field, of a tree, of a man, Etz Hasadah, is the same as the word of knowledge, which is Dat. And knowledge in Hebrew implies the power of connection. And the month of connecting to the true tzaddik of the generation. So the energy of this month is auspicious for us to connect to the true tzaddik, to connect to a holy person, and try to emulate their ways. The masal of this month, or the zodiac sign, is Aquarius, and in Hebrew it's known as Deli, which also means the pail, like a pail of water. And in wintertime, the rainwater begins to ascend in the veins of a tree and bring it to new life. So at this time, when you look at the trees and you think there's no life in them, inside of the ground, inside of the earth, the rain that has fallen is starting to nourish the roots of the tree and prepare it for the new life that is going to come out. So the ascent of water is represented by the pail, the li, which in Hebrew stems from the root meaning to lift up. It means to lift up. And the verse, as the verse in Isaiah where it says, my eyes are lifted up to heaven. So the letter of last month was the Ayin, which means eye. And when we lift up the eye, when we look up, then it connects us to the tzaddik. So if you remember last month, we were talking about how important it is of how we use our eyesight, that we should always try to look at the good in everything and try not to be a negative person, look at what is bad in every situation, but to learn and train ourselves to look at what is good. And when we are connecting ourselves to the goodness of the world and looking at everything as like Hashem, this is what He gave us, it's good for us, and thinking in this way, then we will be able to lift up this Ayin of the eye and connect to the tzaddik of Shvat. And in that way, we connect this last month to this month. So the word tree, which means etz in Hebrew, is formed. And the Baal Shem Tov used to say that when one meets a water carrier carrying pitchers of full water, it is a sign of blessing. The tzaddik is a manifestation of a water carrier. So water refers to Torah. Every time we talk about Torah, we're referring to water, because water, the property of water is that it trickles down. If you don't have a vessel to contain it, it will just go down. And in the same way as the Torah is something that comes down. When it comes down, it goes into your head, and it goes down into your emotions and into your way of thought, and it trickles down and it forms a person. So the new year of the study of Torah is the month of Shvat, and also this month is connected to eating of the fruits of the land of Israel. Until we Shvat, the 15th of Shvat, we make a fruit seder with the 7 species of the land of Israel, and these fruits correspond to the partaking and integration of the sweet fruits of Torah wisdom. And so the waters of Shvat are the sweet waters of Torah. So this month is a connection of the sweetness of the Torah. It's for us to look at the Torah in a sweet way and benefit from it. The tribe of the month is the tribe of Asher, and he was the son of Silpa. And Asher means Ashreini, happiness. It also means pleasure. And Jacob, when he was passing away, he gave a bracha, he gave a blessing to each one of his children. The blessing he gave to the tribe of Asher was, from Asher comes delicious bread, and he shall provide the delicacies of the king. And Asher represents the sense of tasting and eating. And if you listen to the class I gave last year on the month of Shvat, you're going to see that Asher was a tribe that was a happy tribe because they were happy with their lot. And they were very rich. They were the producers of the olive oil in the land of Israel. And people from all over the world would come to them to buy the olive oil, and they were very rich. But their richness came from their gratitude towards Hashem, to being happy with their lot, to looking at their blessings Hashem gave them. And it's connected to the olive tree. And the olive is the sixth species of the land of Israel, and of one of the 7 species, and which in Kabbalah, the 6th is connected to Yesod, which means foundation or bonding. When I bake my bread, when I put the oil in the bread, I connected, my meditation is, I connected to a bonding, to foundation, to connection, to connecting things. And really the Jew, our job in this world is to connect everything to God. And that's the power of the oil. So Yesod is connected to the tzaddik, because the tzaddik is the one that connects the world to Hashem. He brings God to the world, and it's described in the Torah as the foundation of the world. So the olive oil represents the potent seed of the tzaddik to bear and sustain generations of Jewish souls. The sense of this month is eating, is the taste. That's the sense of the month. And the tzaddik eats to satisfy his soul. It's very different when a person eats to satisfy his soul than when he's eating to satisfy his body. It's two different things, and in Proverbs it continues, but the stomach of the wicked is always lacking. What does this mean? The soul-oriented tzaddik feels full and happy with little. A person that is content with life is happy with whatever he has. He's not always yearning for more and more and more of the material world. The body-oriented wicked person never finds satisfaction. We can see this connection between Jacob and Esav, the two brothers, that when Jacob went to meet Esav, he brought lavish gifts to his brother, and the brother says, I don't need this, I have much, I have a lot. What does this mean? It means, you know what, I have a lot, but I can have more. Jacob, on the other hand, when the brother came with the gifts, he says, I don't need them because I have everything. So when a person in his life, he feels that he has everything, then he's never lacking. Eating from the tree of life derives great pleasure. What it means is when we eat in a spiritual way, when we infuse ourselves with spirituality. And life in Torah means pleasure. So from here we see that there's two types of pleasure. There's the materialistic, the mundane, the body-oriented pleasure, and which is a pleasure that will never satisfy you. The more you have of clothes, more clothes you want. The more meat you eat, more meat you want. More sugar you intake, more sugar you need. But when your pleasure is serving God and feeding yourself with Torah wisdom and doing mitzvot, then you're always going to be satisfied with your lot. Shabbat is the day in which we derive the most pleasure from the food. It's a day in which we partake of our best food. It's the day we cook our best dishes. And a true tzaddik experiences the pleasure of Shabbat the whole week. So what we feel on Shabbat, a tzaddik feels the whole week. And the word Shvat as the month, transforms into Shabbat. So the controller, the stomach, and the esophagus, which are the two organs that control this month, which are connected to the taste and are connected to the eating, the sages state that the kurban, which is the esophagus, the job of the esophagus, is to grind the food before it enters the stomach. And the process of grinding is essential to digestion. By grinding, the stomach is able to taste the inner essence of the food. So in life, in our spiritual quest, we also have to take life and we have to grind it. Once we grind every experience we have, everything that's going around our lives, and we're grinding it, then we can extract from it the essence of the goodness of what Hashem is sending us. But if we're just ingesting and we're not eating with intention, and I don't only mean eating in a physical way, I mean eating also in a spiritual way, then we will never be able to taste the inner essence of everything that is around us. So I want to wish you a beautiful month, a happy month. Remember, the secret of happiness is loving what you have, being happy with your lot, and grateful with life. And Rosh Chodesh Tov. Have a beautiful, beautiful month full of light and joy. And remember, live a little higher. Thank you.